Hello, all you fans of Ovid. Welcome to Poland. Greetings from the Faculty of Artes Liberales at the University of Warsaw, here in a truly mythical city. We have a basilisk in Warsaw. Be careful if you enter this street, as the basilisk can turn into stone all living creatures. I have a mirror, just in case. Nearby lives a magical golden duck who could turn you into the richest person of the world. There is one condition, however, but that's a story for another time. And we have a mermaid too, the symbol of Warsaw. In fact, if you are observant, you will find more than 100 mermaids in the city. They often transform into sirens, and indeed we call them all syreny in Polish language. Each of these creatures would be worthy of a poem by Ovid. You know very well that he wrote the Metamorphosis, a poem about various transformations. He even described the sirens who had once human shapes and were companions of Demeter's daughter Cora. They were changed into bird-like creatures after she was abducted by Hades because they wished to be able to fly in order to help in the search. And do you know about the greatest transformation in Ovid's life? This transformation made him a Polish citizen. Yes, we even refer to him in Latin as Ovidius Polonus. How was that possible? You may have heard that Ovid got in trouble with the Roman Emperor Octavian Augustus, who exiled him to a faraway place on the banks of the Black Sea. It was a painful punishment for Ovid. He had to leave his beloved Rome and move to a territory that he considered barbarian. It was inhabited by the people called Getae and Sarmatians, who weren't fluent in Latin. In one of his elegies written in exile, Ovid laments that he has lost an educated audience for his works. With the passing of time, however, he learned the languages of his new cohabitants. Nam didiki getike, sarmatike queloqui. Many centuries later, this gave rise to the legend of Ovid's ties to Poland, as Poles trace their mythical roots back to the Sarmatians. In the Metamorphosis, Ovid predicted his eternal fame, and he was right. To this day, we read his poetry and we draw inspiration from it. In the 16th century, many people dreamt of having Ovid as a compatriot. As the people of Poland identified themselves with the ancient Sarmatians, a tale was spun that Ovid in exile became a Polish poet who died and was buried on Polish soil. A Polish noble even made an expedition in search of his grave and announced later with pride that he had succeeded in finding it. Well, fake news existed even in the olden times. Part of the legend of Ovidius Polonus is also the belief that the poet wrote in Polish, only that these poems didn't survive because the Polish language was not yet developed enough at the time. In the 18th century, a transcript of a debate was preserved by the Jesuit college in the city of Poznań. Its subject was the question of Ovid's citizenship, whether he should be considered a Polish or Roman poet. The question was settled by the god of poets Apollo himself, who was said to have appeared at the trial and declared Ovid a Pole. After all, Octavian Augustus relegated him from Italy, while the Sarmatians welcomed him warmly. In later periods, many Polish humanists, artists and writers traveled to Italy, thus proving that the Mediterranean tradition is our common heritage beyond any geographical borders. Many Italian artists also traveled to Poland and created their masterpieces here. These artists were often inspired by Ovid. They worked for their Polish patrons, who were also inspired by Ovid, as they came to know him during their education in Poland and abroad. For example, King John III Sobieski loved to read ancient texts, and among his favorite readings were the Metamorphoses. The king commissioned many works based on this poem for his Wilanów Palace in Warsaw. Sobieski also loved his wife, Queen Mary, and he wanted to create a beautiful residence for her in order to express his love through art and poetry. He himself identified with Hercules, who was also a character Ovid wrote about. You will find many traces of Ovid in Poland and in your motherland as well. I know that you too have created works inspired by the Metamorphoses. In a certain sense, Ovid is our common ancestor and fellow citizen. For we all belong to a community joined by the ancient heritage, and we all love the language of the myths, using it ever again to create new stories about our world.